welcome to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. Remember to leave any comments and questions below here and below my video, and also be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content regarding the severe weather potential and upcoming storms here throughout the spring and summer. Day 2 categorical outlook from the Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk of severe weather from central and northern Iowa back into southeastern Nebraska, central and portions of eastern Kansas, getting into western Missouri, getting down here into central and southern Texas here as well, with a slight risk here from eastern Kansas down through much of east central Oklahoma, northern and central portions of Texas, western portions here of Missouri, including Kansas City, getting down here into Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Dallas, Fort Worth, Metroplex, and getting down here into Austin, Texas here as well, getting up close to the Omaha area with the far northern extent of the slight risk here as we head into tomorrow. The tornado probability is highest across the Oklahoma City and Tulsa areas, getting down into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, getting over toward Wichita Falls. A couple of tornadoes are possible with the squall line that is expected to develop from central portions here of Kansas, western Oklahoma, getting down into west central Texas as we head into tomorrow evening. The hail risk tomorrow extends here from the Kansas City area down through Oklahoma City, Moore, Oklahoma, just west of Tulsa, getting back just west of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Still some hail probabilities around Dallas-Fort Worth, getting over toward Texarkana, up toward Des Moines, Lincoln, Nebraska, getting down towards, portions of Joplin, Missouri, maybe just west of Little Rock here with some severe probabilities as we head into tomorrow evening and overnight. And then the severe wind risk here will be kind of along that leading edge of that squall line here from southwestern Iowa all the way down here into central and southern portions here of Texas as we head into tomorrow evening. Then the day 3 categorical outlook from the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather from the southern portions of Illinois, the foothills here of Missouri, western and western Kentucky, middle and western Tennessee, much of the state of Arkansas and far east Texas, and through much of the Louisiana here, and then an enhanced risk from northeastern and eastern Louisiana through most of the state of Mississippi and western portions here of Alabama. Within there is a significant hatched zone of significant severe weather of hurricane force wind gusts of 75 miles per hour or stronger. Also here hail that could be up to 2 inches in diameter possible, and also here a few strong tornadoes are likely as we head into tomorrow as well, especially along the southern edge of this enhanced risk from Jackson, Mississippi over towards Tuscaloosa on south. So do want to watch out for that here potential as we head into tomorrow. The probability as we head here into our Thursday is a slight risk zone from southern New Jersey into portions of southeastern Pennsylvania, eastern portions and central portions of Virginia, getting down to the central and eastern North Carolina, far northern South Carolina. This covers the Charlotte area up toward Richmond, Virginia, and getting up toward the New York City area, also here around Washington, D.C. as well. This is the reflectivity here of how this will all break down here as we head into tomorrow evening. All is quiet through much of the afternoon here. Just some warm air advection being pulled north here from Texas and Oklahoma with warming temperatures, warming dew points, and a little bit of wind shear starting to get together here, just priming the atmosphere for these strong thunderstorms to develop as we head into tomorrow evening. And then here, once the front starts to interact with some of these dynamics here, the dry line, if you will, across central portions of Kansas, down into western portions of Oklahoma and northwest Texas, we're going to start to see a couple of thunderstorms develop here around northwest Texas, just west of Wichita Falls. And these could develop here into kind of some supercells at first, with the large hail being the main mode here at first with an isolated tornado. And then here, these storms will start to grow upscale as they push to the east into kind of a squall line or QLCS here, or a quasi-linear convective system, as they push to the east here with some embedded here mesovortices and potentially some tornadic activity as well as it pushes into Arkansas, southwest Missouri, down into portions of northeast Texas, northwestern Louisiana overnight into early Wednesday morning. This is your Tuesday evening, seeing some thunderstorms with a squall line or some bowing structures starting to get together from central portions here of Oklahoma around the Oklahoma City area, getting down toward Wichita Falls, just west of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Could see some strong storms starting to pop here. And then these storms will continue to race eastward here. This is overnight here on Tuesday into early Wednesday morning, and you can see a lot of thunderstorm activity from around the Joplin, Missouri area, just south and east here of Kansas City, getting getting down here to around Conway, Arkansas, just west of Little Rock, and getting down here towards Texarkana, and getting down here into far southeastern portions of Oklahoma. Some damaging wind threat with this, potentially up to around 70 miles per hour is possible, with quarter to $half size hail, and a few tornadoes cannot be ruled out if you can get some spin ups along the leading edge of this line. Looking at it here farther south into Texas, you can see the squall line starting to get together here. This is into the Tuesday evening time period here from around Oklahoma City down through just west of Dallas-Fort Worth around Wichita Falls, getting down toward Waco, Texas here with time, and then here down toward Austin, Texas here in the far southern flank of this. And this will continue pushing east and expanding in coverage here as it grows upscale as it pushes to the east into a squall line. Some embedded Boeing structures within the squall line with some surges of wind here that could be up to 70 miles per hour, but generally 60 mile per hour wind along the squall line here from portions of southwestern Missouri, west central portions here of Arkansas, far eastern Oklahoma, down into central and eastern Texas as we head into tomorrow night, into the wee hours here of Wednesday morning. The reason being all these thunderstorms will be so feisty as we head into Tuesday night is the dew points will be rising the low to middle 60s, even some upper 60s around coastal Texas. And with all this warm, moist air being pushed ahead here and pooling along this dry line, you're going to have a lot of kind of clashing of air masses of warm, moist air ahead of the dry line, and here dry and warmer air, or even really just cooler air at that here behind the dry line. Pushing from west to east, and this will continue here as we head into Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and the clash of these air masses will continue here as we head from west to east here across Oklahoma and Arkansas, getting into portions of Texas as we head into the overnight. Big change in dew points here behind this dry line here as you head into Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, and western portions of Missouri as we head into Wednesday, and that here will spell the end of severe weather for those areas as we head into that day 2 outlook here for tomorrow. The shear output for tomorrow is rather impressive here, especially across Texas, as the shear profiles will start rounding this trough here from the southwest, providing lift for these thunderstorms here along with this dry line. So storm organization here will be important here, component with this wind shear, so these storms will be able to organize themselves and keep their own as they push from west to east across this environment. And the wind shear with the low-level jet starting to crank up as we head into late Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. This low-level jet will really start cranking in here, strengthen from the south and southwest, and that will really start to organize these storms into a linear complex from west to east with a squall line with some embedded Boeing structures. The supercell composite as we head into Tuesday evening, not super impressive here. The highest values here up into southeastern Kansas, getting down to central and eastern portions of Oklahoma, around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, getting down toward Waco, Texas, College Station, Abilene, Texas, down toward Austin as well, and then maybe Houston, Texas, over toward Texarkana with time. Some embedded supercell thunderstorms are possible, and those are the ones that could produce some brief tornadoes here along the leading edge of the squall line as it pushes from west to east. The significant tornado parameter, not terribly high across Texas or Oklahoma, a little higher across portions here of Kansas, closer to that low pressure system here as there's a lot more spin in the atmosphere. Still have to watch for some tornadic activity, but I don't think any here of these tornadoes will be particularly strong here on Tuesday, but do have to watch out for those EF0 to EF2 type tornadoes to develop as we head into our Tuesday, which in their own right can produce some significant damage as well. The instability not going to be super high across this zone here. You can see some turning of the winds here with the, especially into Oklahoma and Kansas here, around the Wichita area, getting down into Tulsa, Oklahoma City, more Oklahoma. Winds will be coming out of the surface here out of the south-southwest. We're here just a few thousand feet up, coming out of the west-southwest. So some turning and rolling motion in the atmosphere will get these storms to organize and potentially produce some tornadic thunderstorms and also some damaging wind here as well. Now, as this line continues to push to the east here, this is as we head into around midday into the early afternoon here on our Wednesday, and these storms will be entering northwestern Louisiana, far east Texas, into central and western portions here of Arkansas, up into central and southern portions here of Missouri. The storms here could be kind of bowing out a little bit here in Arkansas, kind of also here into around the Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana type of area here as we head into Wednesday afternoon, and these storms will continue to push east and re-intensify as a very powerful low-level jet and mid-level jet start here poking into these storms will be racing to the east, and once they get into this primed atmosphere and that enhanced risk zone that I was showing you, these storms will be here able to tap into all those dynamics and produce some intense severe weather potentially as we head into tomorrow. I do think tomorrow's risk is a little higher, or even a lot higher than today, the Tuesday risk. I do expect still a moderate risk to be introduced by the Storm Prediction Center, maybe in the new update here overnight tonight, for these zones here from Mississippi back into Louisiana and Alabama. Still that squall line holding strong from southern Illinois, the foothills here of Missouri into far eastern portions of Arkansas, far western Tennessee, getting into western Mississippi, far northeastern and eastern portions of Louisiana as we head into late Wednesday afternoon. Prime time heating here. And you do have to watch the southern flank of the squall line as it's kind of going to be breaking up a little bit here. And these are the cells out of maybe just ahead of the squall line or on the southern flank that we'll really have to watch, that could here rotate and produce some intense supercell activity with a few strong tornadoes likely as we head into late tomorrow afternoon and even into tomorrow evening. See here as we head into Wednesday evening, here kind of a broken area of storms, and this is concerning because each one of these could be supercellular in nature, and a couple of these could produce some very strong tornadoes. Be on guard again if you were down in New Orleans. Be on guard if you're in Jackson, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, getting up toward Tuscaloosa, Birmingham. Got to be on lookout here for these very intense thunderstorms. Mobile, Alabama, definitely have to be on lookout for these storms here with a stronger squall line to the north of there here with 70 plus, possibly here over 75 mile per hour wind gusts with some of these most intense storms as we head into tomorrow evening. Why is this the case? Yet again, low to mid 60 dew points across this zone here from Mississippi down through Louisiana, southeastern Arkansas. So plenty of fuel for these storms to work with, and this will continue to push east here and feed. These storms will feed off of this warm, moist air here and also produce some very heavy rainfall as well. There could be some isolated flash flooding zones here with this as well. I don't think it'll be too terrible with the flooding threat because these storms will be more progressive in nature, but just due to the here wet ground from previous storm systems, do have to be on guard for some flash flooding potential and some flooded roads as well. And the dew points will continue to here move through the from west to east here with this cold front pushing through. Now, the shear output here at first across Mississippi, Alabama, and southeastern portions here of Louisiana, not looking particularly strong into early Wednesday afternoon. But once this storm system gets closer here, the wind profiles will really start to strengthen across Arkansas, down into Louisiana in conjunction here with this squall line. And this will only continue to push from west to east here, getting into here prime time where these storms are going to be pushing through Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, eastern Arkansas, up into western and middle Tennessee. These storms will really here be able to feed off this wind shear across this area with some very impressive wind profiles. So the kinematics with this storm system are not lacking whatsoever. There is a lot of wind shear here expected with this storm, and sometimes that makes up the lack of the instability here as well. So that is also concerning. Supercell composite, like I said, at first is not very intense, but as the afternoon grows on, some pretty high values being shown here across central and southern portions here of Louisiana, or really just most of the state of Louisiana, also most of the state of here Mississippi, far eastern portions here of Arkansas, western Tennessee up north towards Memphis, getting down toward Jackson, some pretty high values, and that'll only continue to translate from west to east. Pretty high values down toward Hattiesburg, getting up towards Tuscaloosa, Birmingham with time, Jackson, Mississippi, New Orleans, be on the lookout, and that will only continue here as we head into our Wednesday night. Significant tornado parameter values are pretty high across most of the state here of Louisiana and Mississippi as we head into our Wednesday afternoon. So do want to be very mindful here of your severe weather plans because there is a chance of a few strong tornadoes, and one or two of these could be violent EF4s or stronger. So we do have to watch this because this setup is very concerning here as we head into our Wednesday evening, especially across Mississippi, Alabama, and then enhanced risk zone, getting down here into portions here of Louisiana near New Orleans as well, and getting into maybe the far western Florida panhandle with time. Surface-based instability and kind of the turning of the winds with height here, with the kind of the hodographs, seeing some very impressive here turning of the winds here, especially across central Mississippi over toward west central portions here of Alabama. Winds will be coming out of the south southeast here at the surface, but a few thousand feet up coming out of the south and west and even the west southwest. So a lot of turning, a lot more turning of the atmosphere here on Wednesday's severe weather day than on Tuesday or even Thursday. So very impressive. This is the sounding here from near Jackson, Mississippi on Wednesday afternoon, and it's showing the possible hazard type of a tornado. Very curved hodograph here on this graphic, and that is indicative here of some very strong, powerful updrafts, some very strong thunderstorms, and potentially even a PDS tornado here is possible in these areas as well. So want to be on the lookout for that. And this here output is showing very tall thunderstorm updrafts here, and then also big curve in the hodograph does indicate tornadic environment here, to say the least. So I do expect tornado watches here as we head into our Wednesday, definitely with this here type of setup. Now, if you're curious, the severe weather climatology is pretty much right on point across these areas here that are seeing the severe weather here this week. From the Storm Prediction Center's products here, I'm just showing you the climatology with this here, really along the same zones that are in the enhanced risk here on Wednesday, same zones that are in that slight risk here on Tuesday. So no surprise that here this is going to be occurring in these areas. Greater probabilities this time of year in late March, early April, and still no surprise. Same zones here, very close, if not here, with significant tornado probabilities this time of year, centered on portions here of northern Alabama, getting back into portions of Mississippi, the Dixie Alley, Tennessee Valley region, into the southern plains. Same zone that is in the severe weather probabilities here as we head into tomorrow. So do get your safe place ready. Do be on the lookout. Have multiple ways to get warnings here, whether it's a weather radio, your smartphone. Just be on guard, watching TV. Just here, have your TV on. Have multiple ways to get warnings here, is just here getting down to the thick of things here. So as we head into our outbreak, multi-day severe weather outbreak as we head into next week. Be sure to like my video here. I appreciate you guys watching, and also leave your comments below any questions on this multi-day severe weather outbreak. And do remember to subscribe to my channel, as I'll have all great content of my weather here as we head through the week regarding this severe weather potential and more storms to come here as we head into next week. I'll have a longer range weather view as we head into the next couple of days, showing you here the longer range view here through April of what the weather pattern is looking like. And then that after the severe weather passes here, I will be getting more into depth with that. So do remember to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it here, and have a great day, everybody.